Well, good morning. It's 555 and it's the 22nd, day after the solstice, and this is the video for the 23rd of June 2014. And the title for today is a question: what in the world would I fix if I could? If I could get past the programming of my limitations, the brainwashing of the matrix, what areas in the world would I focus on to make life better for humanity? Where would I put my effort? First off, I would start in the only place anyone can start, telling the truth about the world we live in and who we really are. Without those two things in place, anything we do would simply be treating symptoms and not really changing anything. Beyond that, I would address the widespread corruption and fund the means to address it lawfully and humanely. Justice with mercy would need to be applied worldwide to curtail the really big criminals who have created the system of injustice, inequality, and fraud. I would erase all the fictional debt worldwide, which is all the corporate debt, personal and public. I would issue an edict that the entire world is under common law, informing everyone at all levels that they are personally responsible and will be held accountable for their actions. Finally, I would release funding to implement all of the technologies that have been suppressed and get them to the people as quickly as possible. All this would only be the beginning. Now, I've made a decision in recent days to focus more on world issues rather than personal issues, although I want to make it clear that our personal lives and our public lives are very intertwined and interconnected, and there really isn't a separation between them. I'm just choosing where to focus more of my attention and more of my energy in these videos. Do I have personal issues? Of course, we all do. I sometimes think that I spend too much time focusing on that and not enough time focusing on things that I really believe that we need to see as a collective so that we can co-create together the world that works for everyone. Now, knowing who we are is absolutely an essential part of the whole thing. It's a re-education to get out of the not good enough and you're a sinner and you're bad and you're poor and you're helpless and all of the programming that gets us stuck in the matrix and on a merry-go-round and a treadmill that we keep moving but never get anywhere. We need to understand that we are all divine children having a human experience. We're all connected to one God, to one creator, to one life force that is a cosmic life force, regardless of what we're doing, what we believe, regardless of anything else. We're all interconnected in a web of life that is massive. Everything that exists anywhere and everywhere, we're part of that web of life. And we have the ability to, as humans and as sentient beings, we have the ability to affect what we experience by how we think about it. Now, we've been programmed to think of lack of consciousness and limitation, and it is a brainwashing of the matrix. It is a control grid, and we need to be able to liberate ourselves as much as possible from that by realizing that we are not the victim. We are not the slave. We are not the person who feels disempowered and impoverished. We're not that person. We're more than that, and we need to somehow get that idea across to people so that we can not just see it as an idea, but so that we can experience it as a reality in greater and greater unfolding as time progresses and as we are given the truth about our nature. We are not sinners. We are simply open slates, an open book, and we can write on our book whatever we choose to write on it. We have that ability. and we don't have to submit blindly to the programming of the world. And how is the world? The world is a slavery system. The world is a system of corruption. It's a system of injustice. It's a system of fraud. Everything in our world pretty much is a lie. Almost nothing that we're told is how it really is, which is why I'm so excited about being able to listen to the people, the dragon family, the red dragon, and others in that family, to listen to them present another point of view that the West has not given us, because the West has been the power that has enslaved the world. It comes out of the Vatican, it comes out of the city of London, it comes out of Washington, D.C. It is where the matrix comes from, and where it's implemented, and where it's applied worldwide. And countries that do not submit to that tend to be those that are attacked. But things are shifting. The balance of power is shifting to the east from the west, and I'm glad for that shift. I'm glad to see it moving to Russia and to China and to the BRICS nations and to other nations that refuse to align with what we know of as the Illuminati. We need to understand these things, though. We need to have a grasp that the financial system of the world is based on fraud, that all of the debt that has been created is fraudulent debt. Who do we owe it to? The resources of the world belong to the people of the world, not to a handful of self-selected individuals who think they have the right to control everything. And the dragon family has been, or parts of the dragon family have been in that mode for a long time, funding things that have not served the highest good of humanity, have not served evolution, except for the fact that it's provided a tremendous amount of contrast to that which is our essential nature, which causes the conflict in us, because it's a cognitive dissonance where we say something's wrong. I'm seeing all this stuff out there, but it doesn't feel right in here. Something in my gut, something in my heart, even something in my mind just doesn't feel right. Of course not, because we are powerful beings, and yet we're being disempowered. We own all the wealth. It's ours. The unlimited wealth of the cosmos is ours, but it's latent. And we know that we're wealthy, and yet we're being caused to struggle. These are things that we need to address, and it's a re-education that reminds us again that all of our religions actually point to one thing, even though there's been a lot of distortions placed in them, even though there's been a lot of fundamentalist mentality of ego religion, of I'm right and you're wrong, and our religion is the right one, your religion is the wrong one, and you're going to go to hell and we're going to go to... I mean, all of this nonsense. It's all nonsense, because we're all brothers and sisters. We're all in the same web of life, and we've got to break out of the system of fraud, and the only way to do that is by telling ourselves the truth, being told what reality is, being told that these are the control things. This is the grid that was put in place. And the people that have put it in place need to own that they put it in place. And they need to take responsibility for the actions and how much damage it's done. They are crimes against humanity. Who's committing the crimes? It's our governments, it's our banks, it's our major institutions in the world that have been funded unlawfully with our own resources. Loans, listen to me, loans, when you go to the bank to get a loan, you're loaning them your energy, and they're cashing it, they're depositing it as an asset in their account, because you don't know who you are, and you don't know that your signature actually creates negotiable instruments, which, put another way, money. You wouldn't think that pieces of paper that you sign are money, but in our world, that's how it really works. And it's fraud because they don't tell you that that's how it works. And anytime they don't tell you, they're committing fraud. It's not a valid contract. So all debt which is based on fraud is invalid. It doesn't really exist. That money is not owed to anybody. It is ours. It was always ours. And the collateral accounts have accumulated that money. It's blood money. It's money that has been accumulated by, again, by fraud, by corruption, but it belongs to the people. And the Dragon family and others are at work wanting to return the assets to the people, want to return the people's value back to the people so that we can use it. So these are things that we really, really need to get a hold of, and we need to grasp this reality, and we need to understand that when the ambassador said, if you see them committing crimes, arrest them. He's not talking to the everyday person. He's not talking to you and me who have no authority to arrest. Of course, there's always citizens arrest, but we aren't empowered to do that. And the people that are empowered, Interpol and the provost marshal and certain levels of military, they are in place to do these arrests, and it's their responsibility, it's their job to do the arrest. But the problem is they take their orders from people that are committing the crimes. And the very people that are giving them the orders are the very people that need to be arrested far too many of the times. That's just the reality of the world that we live in. So somehow there needs to be a replacement of the people that give the orders. And that's what I mean by funding. The Dragon family needs to make it abundantly clear that we're the ones that are providing your salary. You work for us. And here's what we want. There's a shift in the paradigm. Your boss now is telling you something different. It's telling you that when there's criminality, when there's people violating the rights of other people and running roughshod over those rights and roughshod over those people, creating violence and mayhem everywhere they turn, creating wars everywhere they turn, these are the people that are committing the big crimes, and they're the ones that need to be arrested. And there needs to be a shift there. The world is not going to get better, and people are not going to be able to escape the rat race as long as the people in control are criminals. That's just an obvious fact. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal, but we don't live in a world where we see the equality manifested. We see total inequality. We see total injustice. And everywhere, as I said, there is fraud. Everything we've been told from our religions and our governments and our major institutions, it's almost 100% fraud. And we need to understand that, and we need to address that. We're not going to be able to evolve as a species as long as we're under the heel and under the control of a criminal enterprise. And the system of the world, the matrix, is a criminal enterprise. Get it through your head that that's the reality. And what has this criminal enterprise done? They have suppressed all of the technologies for 100 or more years that would help liberate humanity and get humanity off the grid of control and into the area of personal responsibility. Things like the quantum energy generator and other things that are able to take us off the grid and give us the power that we need, the energy that we need to live our lives without being under the heel of Florida Power and Light and other power energy companies, and without being under the control of the bankers, without being under control of the multinational corporations, without being under control of the governments that are nothing more than corporations acting fraudulently and committing crimes against humanity and operating a racket. It's racketeering, and it's harvesting human energy against the will of the people and to the detriment of humanity. This needs to be addressed, and all of these people are suffering so unnecessarily because there are cures to cancer. There are cures to virtually all the diseases are curable, and almost all of the diseases we have found cures for them, but the cures are suppressed because the medical system is set up as a profit and loss thing. This has to come to an end. This has to be brought to an end, and we need a justice system that allows the people to bring their grievances to a body of their peers that has teeth, that can actually say, okay, Mr. President, okay, Mr. Prime Minister, you are found guilty, and you're going to be put in a penitentiary so that you can be re-educated and you can learn why what you've been doing is a crime, if you don't already see it. It's all about waking up. It's all about knowing the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. If that's not in every religion, it ought to be, because it is the truth. It is reality. And we're going to do this through love and mercy and kindness and compassion. But we're not going to give blanket amnesty to criminals. We can't give blanket amnesty to criminals that want to continue their criminal behavior. Their criminal behavior, it's up to society to stop it. And it's up to people that have been tasked with the responsibility of arresting criminals to start arresting them. But it's up to the Dragon family and the people that control the actual resources of the world to start releasing the funding so that these missions and these things can actually start taking place. And it needs to happen as quickly as it can possibly happen, but we need to understand as well that it is a process. It's not going to happen overnight in the snap of a finger. You know, it's going to take some time. It took many, many centuries and even millennia to build the problem to what it is. It's going to take at least a few weeks or a few months, maybe a few years, to correct the issue and get us back on a level playing field where humanity can finally begin to thrive and finally begin to focus on tapping into our latent gifts, talents, and abilities so that we can become the best we can possibly become, so that our lives can be fulfilled, so that we can be empowered and enriched to accomplish the great and mighty things that the masters have told us we're capable of doing. Let the masters now work with us. Let the unseen realms work with us, bringing into manifestation that which is needed to change the world and establish the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God on earth. Thank you for listening. Have a beautiful day, and namaste.